It's time for the show.
Spooky, creepy, scary show. Spooky, creepy, scary show.
Is soon plowed into the soil from forth. Seeming fate, commonly called necessity, implied in an old book, laying up treasures will corrupt, and thieves break through.
Growing up in a tiny town, I've gotten to see my fair share of strange occurrences. Weirdness seemed to come and go like the seasons. But one thing stays constant: the axe in my neighbor's tree stump. If you are from the city, or just visiting for the first time, you would be forgiven for thinking it was some kind of decoration piece. Something akin to a wood carving or yard art displayed in front of Sally's house for tourists to see. But that axe is a reminder that we have a burden in this town. When Sally first was given that axe, her grandparents tried to warn her. No one gets to leave this town. Her husband left to move away, and at the time, she didn't believe the stories either. She took it up in her hands, let out some stress, and felled that tree in her front yard. When her husband came home to kill her kids and her, she took up the axe again. When the spirit sent him back 2 years later, holding his head in his hands to try taking their lives again, the axe was waiting. My parents told me that story when they gave me an old rusty sledge. They told me some kind of evil has worked its way into this town. There is no leaving. Well, no leaving for good. You can sure try, but you'll come back crazed and looking for blood. After you're put down or had your fill, your family will have to keep putting you down for generations. The old tools have some evil of their own. The blood and sweat of generations seems to be the only thing that'll keep them down for long. I don't have the boldness to leave my tool in the yard, but Sally's axe helped steel my resolve. I know my uncle and great-grandma will be coming soon. I know what I'll have to do. That was called My Neighbor's Axe by Tripledakka. And I really can't say enough. I really can't give that one enough praise. I love that story. I have loved that story since the first time I performed it back in, I think, 2021. And being able to do it now with the puppets and the new effects and everything. Oh man, I had a lot of fun with that one. I love movies like that. I don't know if have you ever seen Handling the Dead or any of the Pet Cemetery movies, or that one show where people were en masse, like coming back from the dead, and the world didn't know what to do with them. Like death didn't take anybody anymore. Yeah, it's such a great concept. Something different, where, people are coming back and, they're not necessarily, trying to eat brains or, running around crazy. It's like that slow burn that works so well with things like that. Because they come back and people didn't know what to do with them. People didn't know how to react with them. You've said your goodbyes and you've made your peace and, you've moved on more or less with your life. And then here they come. They're back again with no explanation. Man, that'd be insane. Think about it. Like, we all have those relatives that we don't like, and a lot of us have those relatives that, for whatever reason, like, let's face it, we just hate them. And, man, imagine them coming back, and you gotta keep dealing with them over and over again, every so often, every few years or so. I think that would be bad enough, but I think the worst thing would be, like, in the context of this story, having to deal with someone, a loved one that you cared about, and then they're, possessed by some evil, some dark spirit or, what have you, and trying to get you. I would love for Tripledakka. I'm gonna see if they'd be willing to do a follow-up to this, because my love for this story has not faded a single bit, and I would love to know more about the tools. The story mentions that there's tools that have their own curse. So there's more to this story that, isn't in this story. That's hinted at. It's demanding a sequel. Hell, maybe it's demanding 3. Let's see if we can get Tripledakka to make 2 more at least. Another cool thing about doing the stories this way now with the puppets is I can explore more with the visuals. Things I couldn't necessarily do with the standard, stock video and stock images. You can only do so much with that. And unless you know how to animate and, something like that, or if you've got a budget to pay actors and actresses to do the parts, yeah, there's only so far you can go with that. But with the puppets, at least the way my mind works, there's a lot of cool things that I can do with that. Like the scene where the guy comes home with his head in his hands. That was one of the first things I thought of. I was like, okay, if I can do that scene, I should have no problem doing the rest of the story. And this was also one of the first ones that I sat down and thought about, I can recreate this one frame for frame almost from the original. And doing it with the puppets, I can take it a step further. I can put more in. In the original, I used a clip from a movie. I forget the name of the movie right now. I should have wrote it down. I'm doing this without a script, by the way. So bear with me. I'm doing all of these raw and off the top of my head. But yeah, famous old movie, black and white. There's a lady in like a kind of 1950s, 1960s, one of those big kind of house dresses, and she's just going to town with an axe on somebody. Kind of looks like Betty Page, but with an axe. And she's just going to town, chopping somebody into little pieces. Let me know in the comments if you ever saw that movie, if you know what I'm talking about, if you remember from the original version of this story from the old channel, from the Scary Show. But yeah, I tried to recreate that one as best I could with, the puppets, and made her a little axe, so she could go to town just like that black and white clip. That's another cool thing I get to do, is make props and things like that. Some of the props are going to be digital just because of, how long it takes to put these episodes out. Like right now I'm working on one. Don't want to say what it is because it's going to give away the story that it's attached to, but it'll be a good one. I'm working hard on that. I'm already working on seasons 2 and 3 as we speak. So that's another 10 episodes coming in October and December. Lots to look forward to. Lots to dig into now. Another thing I gotta get into is the music for this one. Tuning into 666. Oh man, this was one of the early ones that I did, and the music for this one, shout out to DL Sounds for that one. Perfect track, perfect story. Yeah, we have a soft spot here for zombies here on the spooky, creepy, scary show. Sometimes things just go together so well that it kind of sends chills up and down your spine. It's like whoever invented peanut butter and jelly and then bit into it for the first time, and they're like, "Oh man, this is it. This is the truth," as they say. So I was briefly mentioning something in one of the other episodes for this season about posting the comments and everything from the original version or the original performance of the story. And I think I'll put that in the beginning of this video. But I really do, more than you can imagine, appreciate every single comment. And like I used to say at the end of my old videos, the Scary Show always answers the fans, unless YouTube hides your comments from you. And that is the absolute truth, because so many times people's comments would get, censored for ridiculous reasons. Someone said, "Hey Afro," which is one of my nicknames, in the gamer community. And they censored it. there was another story about free speech where there was a beheading in the story, and someone commented, "beheaded." And they censored it in a story about free speech. It strikes me as bizarre, and it never ceases to surprise me. I can't say that I shouldn't be surprised, because as they say, if you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. And let's pay attention to that kind of stuff. Let's, all of us who, put in the time to be creators, all of us as fans who, want the art to continue, let's stick together as a community, as a quote unquote free society, and call out that censorship. I sometimes touch on different things about my time in the military. When I took the oath to defend free speech, among other things. And, free speech is important. And it doesn't stop and end where, someone's saying something that you may not agree with necessarily. Free speech is free. And that's my rant about that for now. The Scary Show and the spooky, creepy, scary show, we welcome all the comments. We welcome your thumbs up. We love your thumbs up. We welcome your thumbs down. We take your positive comments with open arms, and we take your negative comments. We take your criticisms. Like I said in first episode of this first season, this is our show. So feel welcome, Let us know what we can improve on. Let me know what you'd like to see, what you don't want to see. I'll take it all into consideration and give you a shout out, because your opinion matters. We value your opinion, and, we love to entertain you. And we hope that you will let us entertain you for a long, long time to come. And of course, by us, I don't mean just myself. I mean every voice actor and actress who has contributed time and talent to these episodes. Everyone who gave me a tip on how to tweak my audio editing, video editing, etc. And I'm looking at the clock, and it's about that time. So, want to thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you enjoyed season 1. And stay tuned. I'll put out some little tidbits, some little teasers for season 2. I've got some crazy stuff in mind for season 3. I got this idea for a brand new character. A couple of sisters, and I don't want to spoil it, but you're gonna love it. It's gonna be great. And bringing back fan favorite who debuted in the previous channel on the old show. Yeah, so that's it for now. Love you guys, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoy the stories you find here, click the like button. Think of it like applause at the end of a show. Questions, comments, suggestions? Let me know down below. And if you wouldn't mind, share this video so that others can discover the spooky, creepy, scary show.